My clock says a little bit past noon, so we'll go ahead and get going. You guys might hear a few more people chime in as we get started, and we do ask that if you can, please go ahead and mute on your end so that we can minimize the background noise throughout the presentation. Welcome to Grow Nebraska's December 3rd Thursday training on Instagram. I'm Katie Obradovich with Grow Nebraska, and part of my job is to facilitate training opportunities like these. For those of you who don't know, Grow Nebraska is a nonprofit focused on helping you make a sustainable living anywhere in Nebraska. We do this through promotion, market access, and educational opportunities just like this. If you have any questions about membership, I'll be sending you my contact information after the call. Third Thursday trainings wouldn't be possible without the help from wonderful sponsors, and this month's training is sponsored by Grow Nebraska, Great Plains Communications, and Cornerstone Bank. We want to say thank you to all our wonderful sponsors. And now, the reason we're all here, Heidi Garvin from Grow Nebraska is here today to talk to us about 5 ways to make Instagram work for you. Thanks so much, Heidi, for presenting today. We'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. So today we are talking about Instagram, and many of you, I was kind of going through the registrations, and I did see some of you are already harnessing Instagram, some of you are just kind of looking into it and want to get to know it better. But one of the most important things to know is that Instagram is changing. So Facebook recently took over Instagram, and so it's changed the way that we need to harness it to promote our businesses. If you have the presentation pulled up in front of you, so I'm going to skip ahead to slide number 3, since Katie kind of talked a little bit about what Grow Nebraska does and who we are. But slide number 3 is titled The Basics. So no matter where you're advertising, whether it's on social media, whether it's print advertising, digital, TV, radio, anything like that, these questions always ring true. So it's exactly the same when you're planning your advertising for Instagram. The very first thing you have to think about is who is your target audience. Once you've defined your target audience, you also need to think about where you can reach them. I really don't want you to spend a lot of time on Instagram if it's really not where your target audience is. So we're going to go over demographics in just a minute here. The third question to ask yourself is, what do you want them to think about your business? So what kind of feeling do you want them to come away with? This is going to help you when you're working on your branding. The fourth question, why should they believe you? This is one of the questions that I've seen a lot of small businesses and large businesses too. They really forget this one. That any claim you make needs to be backed up with some sort of evidence. Now, your advertising itself can provide some evidence, but you need to make sure you're supporting whatever you want them to believe about you. And then the final question to ask yourself is, what is the purpose of this advertising? Am I trying to drive sales? Am I trying to work on my relationship with my customers? Am I trying to get them to go to my website to learn more about me? Make sure you have a clear purpose in mind before you start doing any kind of advertising. So we'll move ahead here to slide 4. Like I was saying, Instagram has been changing, and this means that their demographics have been changing as well. One of the reasons why Instagram is so popular for advertisers is because it has over 500 million users now. 59% of Instagram users use Instagram every single day, and 35% of users visit several times a day. So Instagram's users are a little bit addicted. But this is good for us. This means that they're engaging with content and they're a willing market. They're open to be marketed to. So a little bit more of a breakdown of who you'll find on Instagram. About 55% of 18 to 29-year-olds use Instagram. about 28% of 30 to 49-year-olds use Instagram. About 11% of 50 to 60-year-olds use Instagram, and only about 4% of people over 60 use Instagram. So as you can see, it's still most popular among individuals who are between the ages of 18 and 29. So if you have a younger audience, this is a great platform to use. And even that 30 to 49-year-old age range, when 28% of the U.S. population in that age range uses Instagram, I mean, it's still a great way to reach those people as well. There is a slight female slant, but men do use Instagram as well. And the interesting thing about Instagram is that there's a very even spread of income levels. You are going to see more of a concentration of Instagram users in urban areas, slightly declines when you get to the suburbs. And in rural areas, it still hasn't been widely adopted. Only about 11% of the rural population in the United States is currently on Instagram. However, if you have, say, a business based in Omaha, you're definitely going to want to be on this platform. The most common user on Instagram is a female millennial who makes between $50,000 and $75,000 a year and lives in a city. So if that's your target audience, you definitely want to be on here. It's also a great way if you have a small business that, you know, maybe isn't in an urban area, but say you want to sell a product or a service to people from that area, you want to draw their money into your community, this is a great way to reach them. Now, everybody who's using Instagram tends to be visual. So we are moving into a more visual world. If you haven't noticed on other social media platforms, you almost have to use photos now to get any sort of engagement. And videos are taking off, especially live videos. Apps like Periscope, Facebook Live, those are really dominating the social media playing fields right now. And Instagram, luckily, is made specifically for that visual aspect. It appeals to people's short attention spans, and, you know, everybody likes things that are graphically appealing. Some of the best practices to use for Instagram, if you are going to be posting a picture, it does need to be high resolution. Preferably square or horizontal images. You can have images that you don't crop down anymore. Instagram does now allow different sizes so long as it's horizontal. But you do want it to be high resolution, and square pictures will do better. So on this slide, I have included a handy little tip for you. Instagram changed their preferences in July of 2015, so they now give the highest preference to pictures that are 1,080 pixels by 1,080 pixels. If you can size your images to that size, and if you make sure it's high resolution, your images are going to do really well. Moving on to the next slide. The Instagram audience is looking for photos of products and people. They're looking to be inspired. They especially love inspirational quotes, and they are looking for video, short video. Some tactics to consider. Think about how you can inspire your audience, entertain them, and inform them. Stories are very popular. People love behind the scenes, little clips, little pictures. But you need to be careful and make sure you know the feeling you're trying to convey, and you need to make sure that all of your posts fit into that feeling. If you move on to the next slide, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We do have an example here from a great local business called Home and Closet Vintage. I've been following their Instagram account for a long time now because they do such a great job of keeping the feeling that they want to convey throughout all of their posts. So you can see from the sampling here, they tend to use, lighter colors, lots of blues, greens, browns, whites, and they kind of follow some of those trends that we talked about. The picture on the top right of that feed is actually a behind-the-scenes picture of one of their artists designing some of their products. They tell a lot of stories behind what they are selling, and they strive to keep a very consistent feeling of good design. All of their pictures, are taken in store. It's nothing too terribly fancy. They're just snapping pictures on their phone, maybe applying a filter, but they're all very consistent. And when you're thinking about branding, the most important things to remember are, 1, you want to make it visible. 2, you want it to be consistent. And 3, you want to emphasize the experience. So when you're telling these stories, you need to make sure your brand name is visible. You want to make sure, just like this page is doing, the look is consistent, the feel is consistent. And you want to talk about the experience that they would receive. So Home and Closet Vintage focuses on telling the stories behind every product, so the kind of experience you'll get in their store, the kind of experience you'll get with those products, everything behind it. So great brand to follow if you have a chance. Another one I am going to put in a plug for Grow Nebraska. If you follow our page, we follow this consistently as well. So if you look on our page, and I'll have Katie talk about this a little bit, you will notice we're following some of these tactics ourselves. Katie, if you want to talk about how you use color and inspirational quotes and things like that, I'll turn it over to you for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the things Heidi's talking about with consistency within color, Grow Nebraska uses a couple primary colors. We have green that is like a lime green. You guys probably all recognize that if you know anything about Grow Nebraska. We use it kind of across the board consistently. We also use some blues. We have a couple different blues we use. Occasionally, this is okay to break slightly, just within different seasons. I do suggest always having something that stays true to your brand. Some of the Christmas stuff we've been doing, we've been actually using red and green, but we still have that same green tied through. We've just added in a red. It kind of makes it look more festive, but it still says Grow Nebraska. We also have only just a few different fonts that we like to use here and there, and we kind of use those consistently as well to kind of carry over that, feeling of who Grow Nebraska is, what we look like. We want people to be able to recognize something that we're putting out right away and know that's Grow Nebraska, even if it doesn't say Grow Nebraska.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll move on to the next slide here then. And this is the What Should I Post slide. So after this, we're going to get into the 5 tips of different things that you can use, just some key takeaways that you can implement right away. But I did want to give you guys some insight here in case you ever get stumped on what you should be posting on your Instagram feed. And honestly, these are great rules across the board for social media advertising, because social media advertising is so focused on building relationships. It's really about cultivating a conversation with your fans, no matter what the platform. And so this What Should I Post slide is a great slide to reference if you ever feel stumped. I always preach the 50-30-20 formula. This is a great rule. So Constant Contact, which has, a nice research budget, they went out and they did some studies, and they found that it's most effective when half of your posts are conversational and entertaining, things that can get you likes, shares, comments from your fans, anything like that. 30% of your posts should provide value to your fans. So this means they should share useful information that can help your fans achieve success. And then, of course, you do have to sell what you do. So 20% of your posts should be about your business, informing your fans about what's new, talking about what you're offering them, trying to make a sale. Only 20%, but you still do need to have those. If you get stuck, start thinking about these 3 content inspiration questions. So the first one is, what advice have people been asking you for lately? So if you look on the Grow Nebraska page, one of the questions we've been getting recently is, of course, what should I buy so-and-so for Christmas? And if you'll notice, Katie has been doing a great job of posting here different gift ideas. We're doing a countdown to Christmas on our Instagram feed, and each one features a different gift idea for someone for the holidays. So this is providing some value, helping people decide what they should buy, giving them some last-minute gift ideas. And it's really handy. So if you get stuck, ask yourself, what advice have people been asking you for lately? The second question is, what's new at your business or organization? Like we talked about earlier, people love a little bit of behind-the-scenes knowledge. So if you can shoot a quick video or post a photo that's showing what's new at your business or organization, that's a great post. That's a great way to help build involvement. It personalizes your business, and it helps them see that you are evolving and growing. The third question is, what did you do recently to help someone achieve success? So again, this is another thing that Grow Nebraska tries to do on a regular basis. We love posting pictures of our members, of people who have attended our classes, things like that. We love visually showing how we're helping Nebraska businesses, Nebraska entrepreneurs to achieve success. Now, for some of your businesses, it might be a little different. So I think we have James on the line yet. I'm going to assume he's muted.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Went off mute. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to pick on you, James, because I've got a good example. James sells Herbal Gathering mustard, which is absolutely delicious. And just the other day, I introduced a friend of mine to it, and he took one bite, and he was like, "Oh man, I've just been eating regular yellow mustard. Where's this been all my life?" And that's actually a kind of success. So I did snap a picture. We haven't posted it yet, of my friend Josh eating a sandwich with Herbal Gatherings mustard. And it's a type of success. It's something new. It's made his life better. And it's a great story to tell.
Thanks, Heidi. I should track him down and get a comment or two from him.
I can do that for you. I'm watching his dogs.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier than it sounds. You might think, I'm not sure what to ask them. I'm not sure how to answer these questions. But if you think about it for just a few minutes, these questions are great for helping you come up with inspiration. And if you get totally stuck, don't be afraid to ask your audience. Ask your audience what they want to see on your feed. Ask your customers. If you have a storefront and they come in, ask them what they want to see. If you don't have a storefront, say you sell online, include a quick little survey in their order email, asking them what they would like to see. Do they want more deals? Do they want more entertainment, more inspiration? Your audience will tell you if you ask. And again, keep in mind that posting on all platforms of social media, it's all about quality, it's not about quantity. So long as you are posting quality posts consistently, you're going to do just fine. You don't have to be posting 1 million times a day. You don't have to spend, an hour or two every day working on social media posts. I don't think any of us have time for that. Just focus on getting quality posts out there and consistently. So say you can only post on Instagram once a week, that's fine. Just make sure it's consistent and regular. You're keeping your fans updated and you're keeping them engaged. So now we're going to move into the 5 ways you can make Instagram work for you. And these are just some handy takeaways that you can go back to your Instagram page and implement right away. So on to slide number 8. It's important to use intentional hashtags. How many of you have seen an Instagram post that the description underneath the picture is just a long string of hashtags? Probably a lot of you. It's pretty common. This isn't how you want to use hashtags. It's going to make people think you're being spammy, and they're not going to respond as well as if you're more conversational, more intentional. Hashtags were designed to help group tweets, actually, based on their topic. So say hashtag small biz helps group all of the tweets that exist about the topic of small business. And since this has expanded into other social media platforms, it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And there's a bunch of hashtags, a bunch of different topics that you can get in on. But I want you to think of them like keywords on your website. I want you to think about what terms your customers are actually searching for. We have a lot of businesses that go out and they're doing like hashtag and then their product name. Well, if somebody already knows your product name, they're the only ones who are going to be seeing your post with that hashtag. They're the only ones who are going to be searching for that hashtag. If you want new customers, if you want new people to engage with, you need to use more general topics, more general keywords. I have included a few on this slide, like hashtag small biz, hashtag TBT, which stands for Throwback Thursday, hashtag Instagood, hashtag love, hashtag photo of the day. These are all great hashtags to use in your posts if you're looking to get more followers. These are things that are commonly searched, commonly used, and they'll get your posts a lot of exposure. And now I am going to turn it back over to Katie for a minute, and she's going to talk about how she uses intentional hashtags on our Grow Nebraska posts.
Yeah, thanks, Heidi. Heidi asked me to come up with a couple different posts from our feed that I felt, did really well, and maybe that's because of the hashtags we use. And I picked out a couple posts. One was a quote from a while back. The quote was, "Success is never so interesting as the struggle, not even to the successful." And that's a Willa Cather quote. And underneath that post in the comment section, I did it right away because it does, I don't know the best way to say it, but it goes in real time. So right after you post it, after you have your description in there, everything, you'll want to comment right away, or after a couple of comments if you get a lot of comments on your Instagram post, because those Instagram hashtags will show up in the order that people are posting them. So you don't want to wait, a couple weeks, because your post is still going to be way behind all of those other people that have already posted within that 2 weeks. So you'll want to post pretty quickly after your post a grouping of hashtags. And like Heidi said, it's a really good idea to use more general hashtags, less obvious ones, things that kind of relate to the demographic you are wanting to see your post. So one of the cool things you can do if you have some time is to kind of try and find people that are your demographic and see what hashtags they're using, and then start implementing those hashtags into your post. This quote post that we did, it did really well, and some of the different hashtags we used on that was, Tuesday inspiration, success, training, support, small biz, shop small, buy local. We used kind of a lot of just general hashtags. And I know there is a limit on the number of hashtags. I don't know it off the top of my head that you can put into a comment, but it's a pretty high number. So usually I can't even think of as many hashtags as I would need to fill that space. So it's a really neat practice to do and to get some more engagement on those posts, because you're reaching a broader audience than if you were to not use any hashtags at all. You would just reach your followers. But if you're using these hashtags, people will find your posts and people will like them and interact with them. Another post that seemed to be pretty successful for us, we had a post of a training that we had with REAP in Burwell, and that kind of relates back to the whole behind-the-scenes kind of scenario that Heidi was talking about. People like to see, kind of what's going on in the background. And we just did a quick shot of the training going on with the presenters and people writing down notes. And, we just said that it was our last stop of the day. We had a great day, great training. And we put a couple hashtags underneath that, and the post performed really great. So I think it's a really great way to just reach a lot more people than you could if you did not use them.
Perfect. Thank you, Katie. Just to wrap that up, if you are going to do one thing after you leave this training today, if you have an Instagram page, try using some intentional hashtags in your post. On the next slide, slide number 9, if you're following along, I do recommend checking out Instagram's new targeted advertising. So, like I mentioned before, Facebook has recently taken over Instagram, which means that we get all of Facebook's amazing advertising tools to use on Instagram now. Now, to be able to take advantage of this, you do have to have a Facebook business page. If you don't have a Facebook business page, let me know. We can talk about that. We can get you set up with one. But you have to have a Facebook business page to have Facebook advertising for your business. And if you've never used Facebook Ads Manager, it's really, really intuitive. It does allow for some great targeting as well. So you can actually target people based on their location, their demographics, their interests, their behaviors. You can find businesses similar to yours and create a lookalike audience, so you can kind of steal their audience if you need to. Or you can have Facebook will actually automate the targeting based on who they see as your audience, based on who likes your page. So they make it really easy. Once you've linked this with your Instagram account, you can also advertise through Instagram. Now, you will need a business account for Instagram as well. If you don't know how to do that, let me know. I can send you the steps to walk you through. But it's very straightforward, and it makes advertising so easy. If you're in the app on your phone for Instagram and you want to turn a specific picture post or video post into an ad, all you have to do is click the little promote button that'll pop up underneath it. You'll set your budget. I usually recommend not spending more than $5. They'll try and get you to spend more on it, but you really don't need to. You can grow your audience very easily and create engagement very easily using a low budget. $5, $10 is probably all the more you would ever spend on one ad. Keep in mind, if you do want to spend a larger amount of money on these advertisements, I would spread out that budget between multiple posts. As we have all been told in pretty much every marketing class we've ever taken, people need to see content in about 4 to 7 different ways before they'll consider making a purchase, sometimes more, sometimes less. So if you spread out your advertising budget between multiple posts, your fans and followers and people who are interested in things like your product or service will see that in multiple ways instead of just spending it all on one way for a lot of people to see only once. You can also, once you've got this set up, you can go directly into Facebook Ads Manager and just set it as an Instagram ad. So if you're already using Facebook advertising and you're used to creating ads that way, you don't even have to change. You just have to link your Instagram account, and you can go ahead and create an ad exactly like you would for Facebook. In Facebook Ads Manager, there is also a tool called Power Editor. So if you're looking to save time and you want to create a large amount of ads at one time and just set them to run periodically throughout the year, you can go ahead and knock that out all at once using Power Editor. So it's a very handy tool. And then there are people you can hire as well. I wouldn't recommend that, though. I think everybody on this call, you're going to see more success if you're just consistently posting on your own. You probably don't need to hire a partner to design it for you. Now, if you have somebody talented on your staff who's very graphically inclined, I would encourage you to let them give it a shot. For example, that's why we have Katie doing a lot of our Instagram for Grow Nebraska. But it's all in all, since Instagram has partnered with Facebook, their targeted advertising is very effective now. If you want to take it for a test drive, I'd recommend just promoting one of your posts for about, $3 to $5. Give it a shot. See how it works for you. The 3 main types of ads that you can run are a basic photo, a video, or a carousel ad. It's almost exactly identical to Facebook advertising. We'll move on to the next slide then. So slide number 10 has our third tip, which is use video. Video is exploding right now. We all know that attention spans are getting shorter, so it's being able to condense information and show it visually in a video format is now one of the best ways to actually connect with your audience. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be perfect. What audiences, especially the millennial generations, the younger generations, are looking for, they're looking for it to be genuine. They're looking for you to show them that you care about them, that you understand what they're looking for, and you can show that very easily through video. So on Instagram, video works a little differently than, say, on Facebook or on Periscope or any of those platforms. You've only got 60 seconds, which is fine. We actually recommend keeping your videos under 30 seconds if possible. You want to make sure you only use a single call to action. So if you want them to sign up for your newsletter and purchase a product and go to your website, you're going to need 3 different videos. You want to give them one clear call to action in your video. And focus on having a good visual aspect. Your video doesn't have to be terribly high quality. I mean, you can apply Instagram filters on video as well, but make sure people have something to focus on, either a great product image or give them the people perspective. Everyone loves seeing faces or faces on Instagram. You can also, if you're feeling a little creative, animal photos do really well. Product photos have to be usually staged a little bit. You don't want to just do a random shelf of products. And services, if you can show an action shot, that's great in the video. Video, again, is also great for behind the scenes. And Instagram also has a great new feature that you can take advantage of using video. So Instagram has a new section called Your Story. So think of it as your new elevator pitch. Yes, you can have up to 60 seconds, but you want to summarize who your business is and what you focus on in just a short little story. And this will show up on your profile on Instagram. You do want to make sure your story settings in your settings tab are set for it to be public. And you want to make sure you are as genuine as possible in this video. At the end, your call to action for your story needs to be inviting people to engage with you. If you get them to engage, then you can keep hitting them with more messages throughout your Instagram feed, encouraging them to buy or encouraging them to visit your website, things like that. That gives them a little taste and invites them to get to know you better. Engage more followers. A lot of businesses, I've noticed, don't remember to follow their best customers back. It's important to remember you're not just putting content out there. Social media advertising is all about the conversation that you're creating. Now, you don't have to get on every single day and like all of your followers' pictures or comment on every single post they make. You just need to create real engagement. So every now and then, go in and check to see who's following you. Follow them back. If you have a new follower, maybe go in, find a picture of theirs that you like, and comment on it. And make sure you're keeping it genuine. You're not trying to spam them with information. You're trying to show them that you care and that you're a real person behind the business. Excuse me. A lot of businesses are using automatic messaging services, basically, that go on and find posts and comment on them saying, hey, I like this picture, come and buy something from my website, which looks spammy, and it's probably going to turn your customers off. But a simple gesture like liking their photo and saying, hey, great picture, that's more likely to get them to click on you, to remind them that, you know, your business is their friend on Instagram, and they're more likely to go back to your page and check out what you've been up to as well. You can also do this with people that you're interested in getting to follow you. So if you find somebody who has a lot of Instagram influence, say it's someone local who has a lot of followers, make sure you're commenting on their posts and make sure you're inviting them to engage with yours. as you develop the list of people that you are following, Instagram will also give you this section over to the right on slide 11 of people who are suggested for you. So this is a great tool. If you have cultivated your Instagram, the people that you're following on Instagram, to be your target audience, this little section is going to suggest more people who have similar interests, similar tastes, things like that, which is great. This means that Instagram is automatically telling you, hey, here are more people who are in your target audience. And if you go in and follow them, I guarantee that a lot of them are going to follow you back just because you took that first initial step of following them. You don't have to do a whole lot of research. They're automatically populated in this section for you. Also, you do want to invite people to engage with you on Instagram outside of just on the platform. Make sure you have a link inviting people to connect with you on Instagram in all of your marketing material. Put it in your email signature, put it in your marketing campaigns on your website. I even have a little Instagram icon on the back of my business card. You make it easy for them to connect with you in the way that they're most comfortable connecting. And like we talked about earlier when we were talking about demographics, this is becoming a very popular way to connect. 55% of the U.S. population between the ages of 18 and 29 is using Instagram to connect and to interact with others. So making it easy for them to connect with you, easy for them to find you on Instagram, letting them know that this is the way to communicate, that's a great way to engage more followers. And then our fifth tip, evaluate your progress. You can't track what you don't measure. And you need to make sure that you're not just, spending all this time on Instagram and not getting anything in return. We want to make sure you're driving sales and you're driving engagement, building relationships, and you're really making Instagram work for you. So make sure you evaluate how your posts are doing, if people are clicking, if people are going to your website. Instagram never used to have great insights. But now, since they partnered with Facebook, you can get a lot more information. For example, if you click on View Insights underneath one of your posts, you can see not only how many impressions you've gotten, but you can also see reach and engagement, how many people are actually connecting with you. And then, if you look on that slide 12, I have put a little red arrow pointing to an icon that'll show up on the app on your phone. If you click on this, it will show you the insights for your profile. So this tells you more about your audience, more about when they engage, how they engage, how many of them are actually being converted into customers on your website. It's a great tool to use. And this will also help you save time. So by seeing when your followers are online, you know when you need to post, and you don't have to waste a lot of time posting when they're not on. By seeing more about them, you know more about who you need to target. It's a great tool to use, and it will save you time in the long run if you take the time to analyze what you're doing. If you would like to learn more about this, I'm moving on to slide 13 now. We are having a Marketech conference in March of 2017. It's March 16th. It's a Thursday. I would like to invite all of you to attend. We're going to have a lot of great sessions. You can learn more details about using video, more details about graphics. It's a great conference to go to. Also, because you participated in this training, we are offering free 30-minute consultations where I'll go over your social media with you and help you develop a more detailed plan. I can also teach you tips and tricks and the technical ways to use different tools. So, for instance, if you've never used Facebook Ads Manager before, I can walk you through how to actually create an ad through there and then how to post it on Instagram as well. All you have to do is email me, and I will be sending out my contact information after this call. And we are going to go ahead and move on to slide 14. I guess my contact information is on there. And we're going to move into the questions section. So I did have a few questions for this training submitted beforehand, but I want to open it up to the floor first. Does anybody have a burning question that's on their mind right now?
I have a quick one, Heidi.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind repeating the 50-30-20 rule? What I remember, the 50% was engagement, but I just want to make sure I get the other correct.
Yeah. So that's I have seen this rule work so well. So 50% of your posts need to be conversational and entertaining.
Okay.
So, for example, on Instagram especially, usually what you're going to strive for is to be inspiring. People on Instagram love inspirational quotes. They love, success stories, things of that nature. But you're just trying to get, likes, shares, comments, get people engaged, get that conversation started. Then 30% of your posts should provide value to your fans. So you're sharing useful information that can help them achieve success. One of the ways Grow Nebraska does this is we post information, for example, about our upcoming training. If you look on our Instagram feed right now, we do have a little advertisement for this third Thursday training, and we talk about how we'll help you, achieve success. You don't have to give us any money or anything. We're not selling membership or anything. We just want you to come and learn what you need to learn. And then the final 20% of your posts should be about actually trying to make a sale. Trying to get people to go to your e-commerce site or come into your store, order a service, whatever you're offering. 20% of your posts should be about a sale, trying to make a sale.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I am going to go quickly into a few of the questions that were submitted prior to the training. Chelsea wanted to know, how can a service business like a utility use Instagram? I actually think service businesses like utilities should be using Instagram on a large scale to connect with the younger generation who may or may not understand what all they offer. For example, Chelsea's from Dawson Public Power, who they actually contribute quite a bit to economic development, helping small businesses get off the ground and get running. So by showing that behind the scenes, how they help their clients achieve success, they show the younger generation that they are more than just, someone who's trying to take their money. They show that they're a group of people who, they care about the community. So showing behind the scenes pictures, showing pictures of your clients, telling the story of who you are, it might take a little time to decide which visual aspects show that story, but it's a great tool to use. And you just want to follow those same questions especially the inspirational question, how do you provide value? How do you help somebody achieve success? Another question that was submitted from Karen was how to get started and drive business to a retail and a store and a website. So getting started is easy. All you have to do is sign up for an account. I would recommend having a Facebook business page to link it to so that you can make your Instagram account a business account as well. And then you just start taking pictures. If you're nervous, don't be. It's better to just start posting and post consistently. Start getting yourself indexed. You might be learning as you go, but that's a fine way to do it. And you've already got, if you follow the 50-30-20 rule, you're posting consistently about once a week. That's a great way to get started. And make sure 20% of your posts do have that call to action. So maybe in your description, say, hey, come visit our retail store to see more products like this. Or, hey, did you know you can shop online? Check us out. A post that might provide value without directly selling, but kind of implying a sale would be, hey, make your order by December 19th in order to get it in time for Christmas. Something along those lines. You could also post about extended retail store hours. There's a lot of different options. But my encouragement to you, Karen, is to just go ahead and get started and start posting. Jane, I did see you had a question about getting an Instagram account and uploading pictures to it. I will say that it is primarily an app. So you do need to have a smartphone and you do need to install the Instagram app on your phone. Uploading pictures is so much simpler on your phone too. Instagram, was born as an app, so they don't really like the desktop style. Now, if you want to create an ad for Instagram, that's almost easier to do on a desktop. But as for posting pictures regularly, you do need to have the app on your phone. And you can write something about the picture. I would encourage writing something about the picture, not just using hashtags, but you do want to incorporate hashtags as well. So, and that's all the questions that I had submitted. Are there any other questions before we wrap this up? All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. A huge shout out to Great Plains Communication and Cornerstone Bank for sponsoring this and helping us keep it free and open to the public. I will be sending out a quick email with a survey and some additional resources for you after we get off the call. And if you enjoyed this training, I would like to invite you to our next third Thursday training in January. It's going to be featuring Judy Peterson from Pro Printing and Graphics out of North Platte. She's going to be teaching us how we can make sure our print and digital marketing are sizzling for 2017. So thank you all, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi and Katie.
Yep. Thanks.